Hello, we are Sales, Tax, and More. Today, we're continuing with part 2 of our FAQ series, specifically on rates and sourcing.
Question 1. Does every state have a local tax rate? No, there are roughly 15 states that don't have local tax rates. This can make getting compliant easier because there's only a single statewide rate being applied. Whether or not the local tax will be charged depends on the state itself and the type of tax. When it comes to sales tax and a local rate exists, it generally will be collected. Some example of local taxes can include city, county, and special district rates. Normally, they show up on invoices as a single combined rate. When it comes to use tax, whether it's a seller's use tax, vendor's use tax, or retailer's use tax, the rules are going to depend on the state. Historically, use tax wasn't required to be collected in many states. However, this changed after the 1977 Complete Auto Transit and 2018 Wayfair decisions. Today, there are states that mandate that use tax be collected, while others don't have that requirement. Unlike sales tax that generally must be collected, use tax will depend on the state and a seller's nexus status. Question 2. What factors can influence whether or not a local tax rate is charged? There are several factors that can influence whether or not a local tax applies. The first is the state's rules. When it comes to this, each one mandates if a local tax exists and when it is required to be collected. Next is the type of tax registration. Being registered for a sales tax or a use tax can affect whether a local tax rate is charged. Likewise, local taxes may need to be collected if a seller has physical or economic nexus. Another factor that can influence the applicability of a local tax rate is the sourcing rules. This is important for sellers because tax is normally based on where the product is taken possession by the buyer, which typically is the shipping destination. Sourcing rules can especially present challenges for remote sellers. This is because remote sellers tend to ship nationwide and most likely deal with numerous tax jurisdictions across states, counties, cities, and districts. In summary, remote sellers most likely will be required to collect local tax rates when the destination state mandates it. Question 3. Which type of tax would require local tax collection? We'll take a look at local tax collection with both sales tax and use tax. First, let's talk sales tax. If a destination state has a local rate, generally the local tax and state tax will need to be collected. Second, let's take a look at use tax.
When it comes to use tax, the requirement to collect local taxes will depend on the state, type of use tax registration, and if the seller has nexus or not. Due to many differing states' rules, navigating local tax obligations requires carefully taking a look at two things: the state's rules and the seller's registration status. For more information and other free resources, including webinars, blogs, and podcasts, or any questions, you can reach out to us at salestaxandmore.com.